Hey, I'm Carlo Perusa.
I'm Mike Manning.
You're watching Sand Shark Bytes. Welcome back to another installment of your favorite television show, Sand Shark Bytes. As always, I'm joined by the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the whatever, the Mike Manning. Mike, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, and I'm going to tell you something. This is also my favorite show, not just theirs.
Okay,
so really
perfect.
excited about the show that you have lined up, Carlo. Got some great guests today and ready to recap what happened last week and looking forward to the events coming up.
Absolutely. So this past weekend, very busy weekend for USCB sports. Two, not one, Mike, two USCB women's soccer victories. What are your thoughts on that?
That's right. Not only two, now they're on a 3-game winning streak as well. They strung that together. It's been a while since we've been able to string 3 wins like that together. So last weekend they played Faulkner University out of Montgomery, Alabama, and then they played Grinnell University out of Gainesville, Georgia. 2 games that were really exciting to see the Sand Sharks compete in. We saw a lot of things that they have seen the team working on in training. They finally starting to come to fruition for the team, and we'll catch up with Coach Jay a little bit later to talk about those things. But a 3-1 win against Faulkner University, and then they followed that up with a 2-0 win in very sloppy conditions against a Grinnell University team that came in looking to get their season going as well. So some of the things you saw in those games, first halves scoreless. Both games took a while for the teams to kind of settle in and get going, but then Faulkner was able in that first game to score first, and something happened then at that point with the ladies, and they woke up and pounded 3 goals in and kind of cruised out of there after that. They held possession the entire game, just one unlucky break there in the back, a turnover, and the young lady from Faulkner was able to slot that home. Then in the Grinnell game, again, a scoreless first half. They come out, they make some adjustments. They move freshman Kaylee Kumar up top into the forward slot, and her pace really opened up that back line, really pushed the game a little bit, opened up some different areas. She was able to occupy those center backs. And then you saw, who we'll catch up with later as well, Hannah Salus.
She's on fire,
able to get a couple of goals in that game, and Sand Sharks able to cruise to a victory there.
What's crazy about it, there was 5 goals scored this entire weekend between the 2 games. Salus got 4 of the 5 goals. 5 now through 4 games, I guess. She's got 5 goals, on fire. You know, I really think, this is going to be the year she breaks out and she takes that next leap to become a very strong player at this level.
That's right, and it's going to be important for her to stay in the moment as well. Only a sophomore this year, and enjoy the time that she's having right now. She's got some confidence now in front of the net, but to continue perfecting some things off the ball that she still needs to work on. But she's been getting the dirty goals.
Absolutely. They
haven't been glamorous by any stretch. She's just finding herself in the right position at the right time, and she's putting it home. That's important. In years past, USCB soccer really hasn't been able to get those goals in those difficult areas inside that box. And if we can find someone that can do that on a consistent basis, all the better for the season and in the future. As I said, she's only a sophomore, got a couple more years ahead of her as well.
Most definitely. So another thing I want to bring up with soccer, to me, it really looks like Jay's message, Coach Jay, is getting through the players. It looks like the players are really responding well to him, and it looks like they're meshing. And, it's his first year coaching. Sometimes it could take a year or 2 years for players really to adapt to the coach's message, and I think it's huge that they're adapting so quickly, and I think that's the reason for the success so far.
It's been an adjustment, as you said, for sure, as it's going to be with any coaching change. With Coach Jay, you see more of a free movement type of team. He's very much about everybody moving on and off the ball,
methodical,
and just being very open in their play. Not only that, though, you see kind of a structure on the defensive side of things where the team is being trained to always cover, get people behind the ball, get defenders in position first, before we try to win the ball back.
Right.
Don't try to win the ball in the areas where it's a low percentage chance to do so. It's get behind the ball, get yourself in position, get organized, create a turnover, and then look for those spaces on the counterattack. And as you said, the team's starting to see that. They're starting to see the benefits of doing that. And I think that's only going to get better as the season goes on.
Right.
As we've mentioned before, this last weekend, those are two close games that sometimes in the past the Sand Sharks have dropped those close games where they weren't able to get that goal, or if they went down a goal like in the Faulkner game, maybe just not able to respond like they did the other day. We've seen glimpses of it in the past, but this year seems to be a little bit different as far as energy goes, and I think with the players we've got now in the program, it's finally starting to take shape.
Absolutely. So besides soccer, another thing that went on was our first cross-country meet of the season. Mike,
Yes.
I know you were out there. We're going to have Lauren Tregoning on the team, or on the show, rather. She did very well. But just talk about how our teams did.
Yeah, it was fun to go up to Columbia International University. They had their first meet. It's a small meet, being a first event of the year, but a really grassy course around their campus. There's a little part of it that goes back through the woods where I know the players were really happy to get to with the shade, because it was very, very hot that morning. And what we saw was really great from our cross-country team. On the women's side and the men's side, they both ran a 5K. As the next meet will show, the men usually run an 8K. But on the women's side, like you said, Lauren Tregoning got inside that top 10. Sierra McMahon, we had her on the show a couple weeks ago, and she was, I believe, in 13th. She was just outside that, had a good showing. And for a first race, very exciting things for the women's cross-country team, where last year maybe didn't have as many people that could get in those top spots. This year we've got several young women who can get there. They're going to improve as the season goes on. You have a Lauren Tregoning that in the spring is running heptathlon, doing all those different events, and
now she's a cross-country runner.
The track and field program, and now she's over here doing the 5K and the cross-country. So a lot of good things on the horizon for the cross-country team on the women's side. Now on the men's side, Wesley Murphy took second place overall. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and that was really exciting for us. He's been talking about the miles that he's been putting on, and you could see the difference it made for him. He looked solid right from the opening gun. He got his stride on and just kind of held back a few paces. And then on the last mile is when he really kicked it in and was able to move up to that second spot. He really timed it well. I thought it was really impressive how he handled that and the strategy behind his race that morning. As like I said, it was very warm, so nice to have a local guy from Beaufort able to take second place overall. And then for the rest of the men, we had 5 guys running total. We have a few more that are going to be competing in the next meet. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tetros run. He's going to be an exciting player. We heard Coach Trubiotti talk about him and his story. So that's going to be coming up when their next meet's going to be up in Augusta, up in Augusta, Georgia there. And it's going to be an 8K race for the men, like I said, and a 5K for the women. So really excited to see what they have in store. I think from last year to this year, vastly improved. We got a lot of great athletes who really get the strategical side of running.
Should be really cool to see how they respond. You know, we have some great athletes on the team this year between Wesley Murphy and Lauren Tregoning. I think the future is really bright for that team, and we're going to catch up with Lauren a little bit later on. But first, we're going to take a little break. You're going to watch some highlights of this past weekend's soccer games, and then when we come back, we're going to be with Jay Harris, and today, the Golden Girl, Hannah Salus.
That's right.
Stay tuned. We'll be back in a second. welcome back to Sand Shark Bytes. And now, as always, we are joined by Jay Harris, and today, Hannah Salus, who's been absolutely on fire. But first, Jay, your team's on a 3-game winning streak now. What are your thoughts on the weekend's performance?
There's always improvement to be made. We've done a lot of good things. We found ways to win. There were some challenging moments, especially with the delay, but we found a way to win. The team listened to instructions and we grinded it out. You know, they wasn't easy wins, but we came through. Sal was great for us in getting our goals, but she wasn't the only one to make things happen. We created a lot of chances. It's important moving forward that we finish more of those opportunities.
Do you feel that your team is starting to mesh better now and create some good chemistry on the field?
I feel there's definitely moments where we do, but then there's also some glaring moments where it shows we have a lot to improve on and we have a little disconnect. So it's just about continuing to work in practice and making sure people build the connections and relationships on the field, because we're trying new things. And you know, when you try new things, sometimes it looks progressive and other times it looks like you're regressing. So, you know, there's going to be times where we look great and other times where there might be some confusion, because, as I say, when you're learning new things, it can take time.
Hannah's with us today. She had a good weekend. She's had a good start to the season. What do you think has been the reason that she's been successful this early on?
Really, I just think her understanding of that position. We have a lot of technically good players. I just think Sal's understanding of where to be and just the timing, some natural instinct. You can teach a lot of things in soccer, but there's things that come naturally. And as a striker, your instinct and timing is very hard to teach that. So Sal has a natural knack for that, which has afforded us, you know, some goals and positions in games, which means we can be in control.
And not only Salus, some other players had good weekends. Who do you think stood out for you from this past weekend?
I think collectively as a team, we done better. You know, like I said the last couple of weeks, it was about limiting our errors and mistakes, simple errors on the field. And I think all over we cleaned it up a little bit, which allowed us to retain the possession a little more and move the ball. So I think everyone done a better job in listening to the instructions and acting out what we've done on the field. And Sal was obviously in that position and fortunate enough to benefit from the work that was being done behind her.
Okay. Lastly, Jay, do you think this 3-game win streak will give your team some confidence and momentum and make them better going forward into this weekend where you have a very tough schedule?
100%. Wins are always going to build confidence. You know, it allows you to relax a little bit. You don't feel the pressure as much. So, you know, coming into practice, things are a little lighter. People feel good. There's some joking, there's some laughing, but you know, it's early on in the season, and there is a long way to go. And you can't relax and you can't think you're too good, because another team will come and knock you off. So we know this weekend is going to be the toughest challenge of the season so far. So we really need to buckle down and put the work in order to go to Martin Methodist and see something happen for us.
That's right. And then you come back, you get Coker College, and then starts conference play. So big couple games to get ready for that part of the season. And we also joined by Salus. Hannah, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. You've had a strong start to the year. Where's that coming from?
I worked really hard this summer, and I had a goal in mind coming into the season. And I think my mindset's in the right place right now, and I think I'm just going to keep it the same moving forward.
So, sophomore now this year, came in as a freshman. You had that adjustment period. What's been the biggest difference between your freshman year and so far here in your sophomore season?
My confidence is a lot higher. I play better when my confidence is up, and I think just getting used to the quickness and the style of play last year helped benefit me coming into this year.
So Hannah, you guys are on a 3-game winning streak now. Does that give you more confidence playing? Does that just, I guess, make you better? Does that make you play with more of a competitive edge?
Yeah, I think so. And I think as a team as a whole, it's boosting our confidence, all of us all together, and it's making it easier to mesh as one instead of just a few players standing out here and there.
Over the last 3 games, what can you say about your team's play as a whole? What are things that you think you guys are doing really good right now?
We're doing a good job moving the ball, trying to switch and find the gaps for the forwards to run onto, and I think that's really helping us.
That's right. And now looking ahead to this season, what are your personal goals? What does the team have set as well?
Personally, it's just to keep working hard, keep a positive mindset. Goals is always a goal of mine, but just to keep doing that. But also as a team, just to keep winning, keep working hard in practice, and let that show in the games.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're all very excited to see what happens this weekend, and we all hope that the success continues.
Thank you.
But now we're going to switch things over, and it is time to talk a little cross country, Mike.
It is.
We'll be back. You're watching Sand Shark Bytes.
At the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, we offer small classes, individual attention, and an affordable education in an atmosphere that fosters diversity and achievement.
We are students.
We field 9 Sand Shark sports teams that compete in the Sun Conference.
We are athletes.
We are one university with 2 campuses serving the coastal areas of South Carolina and Georgia.
We are the Low Country.
We are the fastest growing 4-year school in the University of South Carolina system. We are USCB.
And we are back here at Sand Shark Bytes, and now we're joined by a very special guest, Lauren Tregoning. Thank you for joining us, and let's get right into it. You finally was able to run a race again. How did it feel being back out in action?
It felt great. It felt like a whole lot of running, but it felt really good to get out there and get a good time to start the season.
So you cracked the top 10, first race of the season. But last spring, you were running track and field doing the heptathlon.
Yeah.
The 7 events or whatnot during the course of a meet. Can you compare and contrast those? How is that different than running a 5K in cross country?
Okay, yeah. Well, the heptathlon is about 7 events, so there's definitely breaks in between to kind of regain my focus. With the 5K, it's not so much that way. It's just kind of like you keep running and running. It doesn't matter if you want to stop, you just got to keep running. And the training is definitely different because you're using different muscles, but I like both of them.
Yeah, because the heptathlon has the different field events, the jumping, you got the hurdles, all this kinds of stuff going on, and then you go out and run just a straight 5K in cross country. So yeah, very different. I know, Carlo, you're probably an expert at cross country running.
Yeah, I can't do it. I mean, I can do my 5Ks occasionally. I need some oxygen, but you know.
Yeah, so it was really fun to get to go and watch you guys compete. What did you think of your team's first race, first meet of the season?
I think we all did really well. I think we definitely could use some more hill training because those were some wicked hills at the end that they gave us, but I think all of our times were pretty good for as hard of a course as it was. So.
Well, and looking forward, what are you guys doing in training to get prepared for the next race or for the end of the season or throughout the season? How do you guys improve? What do you do from here?
We just up our mileage, make our workouts harder, the time limit is shorter, more hills, more running in the heat, just a whole lot of running. We just run.
And Carlo, it was really hot up there, and as you know around here, you don't really have the hill training that you can get like you get up into those areas.
So you're saying I wouldn't make it up halfway up these hills?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
That's why I'm in front of the camera, I guess. But moving forward, so you have a couple new faces on the team this year. Do you feel that you guys are really starting to mesh as a team?
Yes, it's awesome. And I feel like we have, with cross country, it's important to run with a group. So we have 2 solid groups right now. And last year it was kind of just individuals running at their own paces. But a lot of the freshmen are really, really fast, and I'm excited to see them improve. So.
Last question for you now, Lauren. Going forward, what are your goals for the rest of the season? What are your personal goals? What do you want to achieve?
Well, when we go into track season, I definitely want to focus on the heptathlon, and I want to get to nationals for the heptathlon and hopefully just do my best there. Because,
Absolutely. Well, Lauren, thank you for joining us. And Mike, we're about done. Another wicked episode of Sand Shark Bytes. But a lot to look forward to in these upcoming weeks. We got some soccer action. You want to talk about
We do. Coming up, we've got a trip to number 6, Martin Methodist.
It'll be a good game.
And then we get another home game against Coker College.
So it'll be interesting to see if the team can ride the momentum they're on right now and see what happens going into playing some very tough competition.
Yeah, these are the last 2 games before heading into conference play, so these are going to be 2 big ones to really prepare for that game against Kaiser to open things up when the team travels down to West Palm in just a couple of weeks.
Of course, as well as soccer, we also got our first men's golf event of the season that you're actually going to be going to.
Of course, why not?
And then when you come back, we're going to be doing a show to talk all about it.
Yeah, the men are going to be heading down to the College of Coastal Georgia, just past Brunswick, Georgia. Just down 95, just a couple of hours away. So not a far trip for the guys, but College of Coastal Georgia on paper is probably one of the top, if not the top team in the NAI across the country. On paper, they should probably compete for the national championship this year. Our men in the preseason poll were ranked 9th. They won the Sun Conference Championship last season, so going to be interesting to see where we really stack up with this new group of guys that came in. So I'm excited to go down there and see what the golf team has in store for us.
I'm really interested to see how the returning players respond. You know, guys like Jack Ferracci, Bobby Dumpty, Mark Sweeney. I really think they're going to break out. And I mean, I think Jack is on pace to really do special things this year. The kid has been on fire.
He's an exceptional talent, and he has a work ethic second to none. He's going to go out over the summer. He's going to go out in his off time, not just go out with the team and train, but he's going to go find time on his own to get better, get to the range, work on the shots he needs to work on. And I think you had an opportunity to go out there and see the guys a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he looks extremely focused. He's locked in, and
sure is.
ever since he won the South Carolina Open, I mean, the momentum and confidence the kid has is unbelievable. But that is going to do it for us. We'll talk about this and much more next week. But in the meantime, if you ever need any information on USCB athletics, go to uscbathletics.com. Mike Manning will take care of you. But until then, for Mike Manning, I'm Carlo Prusa. Keep those fins up, everybody.
Hey, I'm Tony Hawk, and you're watching the County Channel.
I'm Dennis Adams, and this is a Beaufort County Moment. No Beaufortonian younger than 60 is likely to remember the Gold Eagle Tavern. And yet, for over 30 years, the tavern was a place for locals to brunch after church from a menu of low country and continental dishes. From time to time, in the years between 1930 and 1961, they could steal a glance at Clark Gable and other celebrities who had checked in to enjoy the world-famous view of the river and the marshes from the terrace. The tavern's tabby foundations on Beaufort's Old Point dated back to the 1700s and can be seen even today. But developer and philanthropist Kate Gleason added the familiar round tower when she owned the property in the 1920s. The Gold Eagle name dates back to the earliest owner, Henry William de Saussure, director of the United States Mint, who authorized the first Gold Eagle dollars in the 1700s. The building was demolished in the early 1960s, but the tavern did its part to establish Beaufort's reputation among travelers the world over. I'm Dennis Adams, and this has been your Beaufort County Moment.
This is Beaufort County's Crystal Lake Park.
This property is 25 acres and it was purchased through the Beaufort County Rural and Critical Lands Preservation Program. We have just finished our first phase, which includes this wonderful boardwalk that leads over saltwater wetlands to the beautiful 7-acre Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is an extraordinary habitat for bird species. There have been at least 33 different bird species documented at this site through the master gardeners and master naturalists that have accomplished many site visits to the property. And not only will you see all kinds of songbirds, you will see wading birds, birds of prey, migratory waterfowl, and even endangered species such as the wood storks. You will also see all kinds of turtles and snakes and even some alligators. This is an amazing place, and you almost have like a secret pocket park within a suburban area. This gives people a chance to get out in nature, get into a quiet space right outside of their schools and their businesses and their houses. Ladies Island is such a beautiful place with all of its marshes and waterways and upland habitat, but there's just not many places to enjoy the open space. So this community park will provide a network of trails as well as an interpretive center and serve not only the Ladies Island community, but Beaufort County as a whole. Right outside of this park are two schools, a church, businesses, and a neighborhood. And so this park will connect all of those pieces together and give people a chance to experience nature within this suburban area. This park will also service the schools in that they can use it as an outdoor classroom, not only for science, but also for art and photography classes. More towns and cities are realizing that parks and open space are vital to the health and happiness of people within their community. So this park gives people a chance to experience nature, even if on a small scale, so that they realize how important and wonderful Beaufort County really is.
Hi, I'm Tony Mills. I'm a naturalist and educator here in the Lowcountry. You know, Beaufort County is an amazing place to live. Not only is it beautiful here, but we have an amazing diversity of living things. In this series, we're not going to travel to other parts of the world, like Africa or Asia, to see neat things. We're going to look at habitats right here in Beaufort County, and we're going to look at some of the animals and plants that make this area so special. Join me for Coastal Kingdom on the County Channel.
Beaufort County Animal Control works to reduce the number of unwanted pets. You can help by spaying or neutering your dog or cat. Animals at the Beaufort County shelter are spayed, neutered, and vaccinated before they are adopted. They can also be microchipped for an additional $20 fee. Do your part. Spay or neuter your pet to reduce the suffering.
A message from Beaufort County Animal Shelter and Control. The shelter is always happy to accept donations of old blankets, towels, or pet toys.